Farah and Farah, and by Everbank. The Publix Tailgate Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jaguars, into season 31. Welcome to opening day in the Publix Tailgate Show. I'm Brian Sexton, along with Mike Dempsey and Austen Lane. Brought to you by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Opening day.
Good morning.
It does. Yeah, good morning. How are you? I'm sorry, I'm just so excited.
It's good.
I was calm and relaxed all week long, but you get to game day anyway has that feel. You guys know. But when you get to opening day and everything is new and everyone is 0-0, well, it's an exciting time.
I just want to feel this way at 4 o'clock, though, Austen.
Well, of course. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. And it's different now being here with you guys because usually I'm in the Tailgaters parking lot having a good time pre-gaming, and now I'm talking the Jaguars with you guys. I'd much rather be in here. I'll be honest with you. Yeah.
Care to answer that one?
It's an honor to be in here. Yeah.
He'll have 90 minutes to catch up, though.
There we go.
We'll figure it out before we get too long down the road.
Without a doubt.
So what do we know about this team? We know that Shad Khan pulled the ripcord and changed everything back in the winter. We followed them through the Travis Hunter drafting. We followed them through training camp. We followed through a winless preseason, but we saw things that we liked. So, Mike, what do you know about this team today?
Well, I know that it's been turned over. 50% of the roster is new, so what was here was not good enough, and they recognize that. And I know that they want to run the football. They've invested in the offensive line. Will it be enough? We'll find out. I think all 4 tailbacks will be active today. And if they can run the football, they hope that opens up the deep shots down the field for Trevor Lawrence with the speed that they brought in here to accompany what they had in Brian Thomas. And I think the bigger mystery for me, Austen, is what we're going to get defensively. I think, because everyone comes in, every defense coordinator, we're going to attack. We saw a couple of blitz packages in the preseason, but I think they've got some really talented guys up front. And, Ike Ekwonu, looking like he's not going to play today at left tackle. I think that could open up the pass rush door for Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon.
I mean, it's going to be huge because if you look at last year, you see these names on paper for the Jaguars, and they have the names on paper. But for whatever reason, last year, they just couldn't figure it out. They couldn't gel. They couldn't play together, and they're very porous in the run game, and they have a lot of explosive plays last year as well. You see now with, obviously, Coach Camp coming in, trying to change that whole thing, and we saw that a little bit in the preseason. What I love to see in the preseason was the use of blitzing, right? The use of not just going meat and potatoes. You're going to throw wrinkles out there, even in the preseason, to see what you have on your defense. Obviously, interior defensive-wise, it was a question going into this preseason because of injuries. Eric Armstead, obviously, coming back now is going to be huge, and Mason Smith is going to contribute as well. But it's like I always say, man, the bulk of your defense and the identity of your defense, it starts up front and it starts in the middle. If those guys can play good, it's going to translate to Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker hopefully having a big day against an offensive line right now for the Carolina Panthers that has a few injuries.
Same question for you. As you walk into the studio this morning, what do you know about this team?
I mean, what I know about this team, what we've seen in the preseason, you can take some pieces of there, but like what I know in terms of the mentality and the communication, I think it's been big. And this isn't necessarily like on the field. It's what I've been hearing from, obviously, Liam Cohen, what we've heard from James Gladstone. They are big on communicating. They are big on propping their guys up and making sure that the message is getting across. I thought the biggest turning point this preseason that I saw was that first preseason game against the Steelers. Didn't look that great, right? There were some miscommunications on defense. Offense played okay. Well, what do? They slow things down. They kind of almost have a walkthrough the next day, and then they have like a full-fledged scrimmage on Thursday, much to the point where I was like, well, they're not going to play their starters then against the Saints that following week, and they do. So when we talk about what I've seen, it's creating the message and then getting that message across. And I think Liam Cohen and company have done a great job so far.
Well, since you mentioned the head coach, I had the chance to ask him the question earlier this week. Here's what he knows about his football team as he gets set to coach as the head coach for the first time in his life.
They've responded to challenges thus far that I've been proud of. Kind of everything that we've asked them to do in so many ways, they've really worked their tails off to do, which we've all appreciated as coaches. Is it, the finished final product that we're all hunting up? No, it's not. But that's the beauty of it. But I do think that it's a group that understands that they have an opportunity to improve, that we all have an opportunity to improve and, improve our play style and the way that we finish, the way that we play the game. I've been pleased with their response to that. How we handle a turnover or a touchdown, given up, or a fumble, like how are we going to respond? You don't truly know. But thus far, from everything I've seen, I've appreciated their response.
Yeah, and we're trying to figure out how the players are going to respond. We got to see how Liam Cohen responds too, right? Brilliant offensive mind, but this is the first time he's orchestrating the whole thing, and he's got to have his fingers on everything. He can't just be detached and kind of check out when the defense is on the field. And I don't expect him to do that, and I think he's a smart enough guy. Austen, I think he's quite capable. Plenty of guys come in their first game and they show that they can handle those nuances, but until you see it, at least I'm not going to be 100% sure that, how does he handle the timeout situation? How does he handle it when the clock is running and you got 50 different things going on?
Because, not only is he calling the X's and O's, he's calling the plays, but now he's got to make sure, the vibe, if you will, is right with this team. And I think eventually what you want to see going forward with this team is that Liam Cohen can come in and say, okay, we have our captains. We have Josh Hines out. We have Trevor Lawrence. These guys can relay my message, but it's week one. They can't do that yet, right? So he's kind of got to oversee everything. So it's definitely a lot on Liam Cohen's plate. I'm very curious to see. Because, listen, if it goes well, everything's easy. Sure. Everything's gravy. Mm-hmm. But when you have that turnover, if you have a couple series where it's looking stagnant, how do you respond to that? That's going to be the telling point right now for Liam Cohen.
All right, the running game has been a consistent theme since Cohen was hired. And you mentioned, Mike, 4 running backs all could be active today. So I asked Robert Hainsey, the center who came with Cohen from Tampa, about the running game. And what is a strong running game, because it was strong last year with Bucky Irving running the football for the Buccaneers. What does it take to translate the running success they had in Cohen's 1 year in Tampa to his first year here in Jacksonville?
When it comes to those gotta-have-it runs, those obvious run situations where everyone watching knows you're about to run the ball, that doesn't come down to scheme anymore. You're not scheming up for that. That is win your one-on-one matchup, and that's what the NFL and ultimately boils down to, is win your one-on-ones. Now, there'll be times where, hey, we're going to look like we're going to do something, and maybe we'll do something else, and you keep the defense thinking. So there is that scheme that goes into it, but there is always going to be, if we're the number 1 rushing offense in the league, you think we're going to come in here next year and be like, all right, we're good. We don't have to change anything, So we're always constantly improving, but that's a great question.
Look, I think they have the talent to be very successful here, but I think the challenge is don't get pigeonholed into when this guy's on the field, this is what you're doing, right? Like this guy excels in this area, therefore, hey, when Tank Bigsby's on the field, they're going to run power up between the tackles and things like that. So they've got to be, diversified. And I do think that, you look at Bajel Tutin, he might be the complete package of all that diversification, but I think they're going to lean on the vets early in the season. But I think that's why a lot of people think ultimately Bajel Tutin will elevate himself to the top of this depth chart.
So when Liam Cohen got to town, one of the very first questions I asked him, because I was so intrigued by what he did in Tampa Bay, you take a rushing offense that was last in the league and you immediately turn it around to a top 5 offense. And I asked him, is it scheme, is it intensity, or is it talent? Or is it a combination of both? And I remember he told me it starts with talent. We had guys like Tristan Wirfs that, they already had the pedigree to be all pros, to run the football. Now it's my job just to implement this scheme and work off them. I think if you look at this roster, do they have a Tristan Wirfs right now? Probably not. But you see a guy like Anton Harrison has been challenged a lot in training camp. I think Coach, Liam Cohen's called him out a couple of times in a good way. And I think it's guys like that you want to see take that next step forward, because it doesn't matter if you have Tutin, it doesn't matter if you have Travis Etienne. If your offensive line can't get their job done, it doesn't really matter.
We've talked so much about Tutin that I wonder if you think that Etienne has maybe been overlooked in training camp. He had a tremendous camp. I think he understood. He's in the final year, the 5th-year option, and what is it, like $6 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's going into a free agency period in all likelihood next year. And running backs, I don't know if devalued is the right word, but unless you're Saquon Barkley, you're not getting that life-changing contract. I mean, you're going year to year or 2-year deals. I think Etienne rose to the challenge. I thought he had a tremendous summer.
Oh, I thought he looked fantastic.
I think it's going to take something for Tutin to get past him.
He felt the pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Totally.
I mean, look, all the talk was, if they didn't make this move up for Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty was going to be the selection at pick number 5, right? Then after the draft, they kind of acknowledged, hey, we were interested in R.J. Harvey. When he came off the board, we decided we'll move back out of 70, and they got a good offer. So they were looking early to upgrade this room. And if you're Travis Etienne, you look, and Tank Bigsby outgained you by a yard per carry last year, and they added 2 rookies, draft picks coming in here, and I do think he responded. I think that when you look at that co-starter situation, I think you're going to see ETN on the field. You're going to see him early and often. You're going to see him in third down packages. You're probably going to see him on the field with Bigsby at times, Austen, as well. And look, it's amazing what can happen in a contract year in the National Football League. Right?
No, without a doubt. And I've been in a situation before, right? When you're kind of like the veteran and everything, and you're watching the draft, see who they draft. Are they taking defensive end? Okay, well, I'm good. Well, for him, they take Tootin, who's been glorified with his speed and everything, so that's got to make you a little nervous. Here's the thing about Travis Etienne, though. It's his job to lose, right? So he's coming in as a starter right now. I expect him to get at least, a majority of the reps in that first quarter, or at least, splitting with Tank Bigsby, but it's his job to lose. He's dynamic. He can be great in the run game, great in the pass game, and I think if he goes out there and performs, it'll be his job to keep. I get we're all excited about Tootin and everything with his speed, but if Travis Etienne goes out there and runs between the tackles and does well, don't take him off the field.
If he does. But, last 2 years, under 4 yards a carry. So, the pressure's on. You got to perform.
All right. When we last saw the Jaguars secondary, they were limping into the offseason. I mean, how many times last year, whether it was Jordan Love or C.J. Stroud, a quarterback making a big play late in the ball game, down the field where it appeared it was just there for the taking. That's not been the case this year. Their posture has been much better. And I asked Jordan Lewis, the free agent cornerback who came in from Dallas and is a captain, how he helped transform the mindset of a young secondary that, by all rights, might question itself a little bit.
We've always had talent, honestly. It's just, bringing it together with the coaching staff and, the ideology to go out there and attack people. They always had the talent. They had Tyson, they had Jarian, they had Buster. Those guys can go out there, impress guys and go play some ball. But it's just, that belief system and that scheme to go out there behind it. And the coaching staff, fully empower us to go do that. So it's just really the mindset.
It's a big storyline this year.
No doubt. Look, we talked. You just did mention some of the blown coverages last year. I may be crazy, Austin. I feel pretty good about this cornerback room right now. If they stay healthy and play up to their capabilities, and those are a couple of ifs, but Tyson, Lewis had a phenomenal offseason and I think Jarian Jones really responded to the challenge as well of having Travis Hunter come into that room.
So you can definitely see a difference with Lewis here, right? He kind of brings that winning pedigree. He comes from Dallas a little bit. Now, they didn't win a lot of playoff games, but he has won a little bit. But you talk about a guy that has really stepped up to be the leader, I feel like, of this secondary. Tyson Campbell, the big question mark's on him, right? When he's out there, he's 100%. He showed promise. But the question is, being 100%, he's had some injuries. He had some injuries in this preseason, so we'll see how he does. And then, obviously, Travis Hunter, who in this preseason, we haven't seen a lot of him, but he looks to be maybe the best cover corner that you have right now. So what is that usage going to look like, especially against the Panthers team where you might have some decent receivers in Tet McMillan, who's starting to make a name for himself even in the preseason?
All right, we'll find out. That's the big story, obviously, today. How about this one? Josh Heindel on his fourth head coach in his seventh season. And it's different this year, but this change is, as he liked to say, very different. The veteran pass rusher on the verge of setting the career sack record explains.
I'm excited. I like where we're at as a team. I like the players that we're around. I'm surrounded by a lot of pro guys. And, the last couple of years, not even last year, but the years before, it was hard to say that. But now I'm surrounded by guys that go about it the right way, on and off the field, who come in with a purpose, who takes practice serious, who communicates, who demands communication on and off the field.
Well, look, we know Josh Heindel can get it done. We know Trayvon can get it done. I think, the question is, do they have enough beyond that? And they brought in Agba, they brought back Smoot, they brought in Gardeck, among others, and we'll find out in short order today, Austen, because they're going to need it.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need it because last year, once again, it all started with the interior, right? When you have two bookends, it's a rarity in the NFL. And they had that last year, and could they get home all the time? No, they couldn't. So what was the issue? It was the interior pass rush. Now we have Eric Armstead, Mason Smith, and without the risk of repeating myself too much, you're only going to be as good as the edge as your interior is going to allow you to be.
All right, a quick thought. We've touched on Travis Hunter in many different ways, offense, defense. Do you have a thought, a specific thought, on whether he is primarily a receiver or primarily a corner in his first NFL game?
It seems that the general feeling is receiver is where he's going to play most. And quite frankly, I think he's needed more in that group. Despite Parker Washington's fantastic training camp, I think Travis Hunter impacts the wide receiver group, and that's because of the presence of Jarian Jones. I think Jarian has really had a good offseason. I feel pretty comfortable with him out there. I expect to see him play some of both, though.
Yeah, I mean, you'd hope that to maybe make history, he starts at wide receiver, maybe starts at corner as well, just to say that he did that, right? Like I see something like Liam Cohen wanting to do that because you remember the press conference with James Gladstone. He said, this is the entertainment business as well. Now, it's not professional wrestling per se, but what a better headline than Travis Hunter starts at wide receiver and cornerback.
All right, folks, we'll find out exactly what happens coming up in about 3 hours. Well, coming up next on the Publix Tailgate Show.
Working together really well, and we haven't played a game yet. We got a lot of work to do, and we got to go win games. That's why we're all here. So we got to take care of that part of it, but it feels great.
Quarterback Trevor Lawrence as he begins his pivotal 5th season with the Jaguars. But next, CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco's perspective on today's game. This is the Publix Tailgate Show, and this is Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Ride Now Power Sports is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The pick is in. CF Moto is your top draft choice for excitement on the road or off. Don't miss the All Cylinders clearance event with financing as low as 0% or rebates up to $1,500 on select vehicles through September 30th. Make your winning drive today at Ride Now Power Sports Beach Boulevard. Mention Jaguars at the time of purchase and score big with CF Moto. See the full lineup now at ridenow.com. Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour. Restaurant Orsay also offers full-service catering for any of your event needs. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale at 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Brought to you by FDOT.
It's here that a tiny newborn has the heart surgery needed to save her life. It's here that a first grader learns to speak clearly and confidently. It's here that a 12-year-old athlete builds the strength to run full speed again. It's here at Wolfson Children's Hospital that answers are found, courage is shown, and odds are beaten every day. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Welcome back to the Publix Tailgate Show. Brian, Mike, and Austen with you from the Hyundai Studios in Jacksonville. 1 o'clock kickoff. Opening day, the Jaguars and the Panthers from Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville. And today's game is presented by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Speaking of pleasure, your weekly conversation with Pete Prisco. Would you call it a pleasure?
That's one way to describe it, I suppose. Yeah. No,
I'm setting up for opening day.
I enjoy talking with Pete, and I think people enjoy hearing from him with his perspective. And so we want to start out the year on a little bit of a positive note. So I asked Pete, coming out of training camp and the preseason, what is the aspect of this team that he's most confident in?
Passing game. And I think it starts with Trevor Lawrence. I think mechanically he's much better. He's sounder. He's getting the ball out on time. His motion is quicker. And I think that Brian Thomas, despite the fact he didn't have a great summer, is still a gamer and will show up big. And adding Travis Hunter to that equation is also going to be a factor. And by the way, Bretton Strange might be on the verge of having a 55 catch season with like 5 or 6 touchdowns. So I think it's the passing game. I think it's taken a big stride forward. It will take a big stride forward, and it's going to be a big part of what they do.
All right, so where are you most concerned? And granted, these concerns may prove not to be that important, or maybe the improvements won't be as great as you think, but as it stands now, what's the area of the team that has you most concerned?
Interior of the defensive line. Can they stop the run? Are they big enough? Are they physical enough? Can Armstead play an entire season? That's been a problem for him over the years, is being able to stop the run. And you have 2 really good pass rushers. If you don't stop the run, it kind of negates them a little bit. So I think they have to be better stopping the run, but that's still my biggest concern going into the season.
How do you think Liam Cohen handles his first opportunity as an NFL head coach?
I think so far he's done a really good job. And, talking to people around that team, he pushes when he has to and he backs off when he needs to. And that's usually a telltale sign of a guy who gets it. But again, we don't know until he gets on the field and see what he does when actual games are being played that matter. And when it goes bad, how does he handle it on the sidelines? If it goes bad, they lose a couple. How's he handle that in the locker room? But so far, so good. And I think, offensively, I think he's going to be a great, addition to the team. What happens in the big picture, that we don't know, but I think so far he's off to a good start.
All right, part of the big picture, and nationally probably the storyline everybody wants to hear about, is Travis Hunter. Understandable, Heisman winner, Blitnikoff Award winner. Jags make the big trade to go up and get him. Pete, week 1 expectations, what do you think is reasonable? What are you hoping to see? What do you think we will see from Travis Hunter?
It's interesting how where he plays has been changed over the course of the spring. Initially it was going to be a wide receiver and spot in on defense. Then it was going to be he was going to start at corner and spot in on offense. And then I think when he dinged up his shoulder, that kind of changed things. And now he's going to be a wide receiver and spot in on defense again. So I think the way that is right now, I think he's going to be on the field for most of the offensive snaps. I think he can get 6 or 7 catches and maybe for 60-something yards and maybe even a touchdown. They might trick up something with him, in terms of the reverse or something like that as well. And defensively, I think he's going to be, on the field in the nickel. He's going to come on, play outside. They'll move Jordan Lewis inside. And so he has a chance to make some plays on defense as well. But it's kind of changed. The whole process, it's been, fluid. And I think when he dinged up his shoulder, I think that kind of changed the way they were going to play him.
All right, so Pete, we know it changes a lot from one year to the next, but Carolina just atrocious against the run last year. Look, the Jags weren't great, but the Carolina was in a category all by themselves. Is that where you think the Jags might have the biggest advantage here in week 1, being able to lean on that quartet of tailbacks?
Well, Derek Brown's back for them, so that he went out last year. That was a big loss for them. But yeah, I do. I still think he can run the ball, and I think that's what Liam Cohen wants to do. I mean, that's the identity of his offense. We can talk all around. I said it earlier how much I think the passing game will be improved. It won't be improved if they don't run the ball. Everything is predicated on running the ball, and I think they're going to make that a big focus. One thing you noticed all summer is how much better the offensive line is coached. Now, I'm not sitting here saying they're a better physical group than they were a year ago. I think they are a little bit better. But I think from a coaching standpoint, you can see major differences in that unit. So I do think they're going to be able to run the ball and to run the ball effectively. Now, who does it? That's a whole other story, Mike. I think you're going to see, all those guys get opportunities to do it. I still think eventually Tutin's going to be the guy. But for now, you probably, he doesn't pick up blitzes like the other guys do, and that could be a problem.
All right, quickly, which side has the advantage? Carolina offense, Jaguar defense?
I think the defense is Jacksonville. There's some issues on that Carolina offense. And by the way, let's see Bryce Young do it again. He had a little stretch at the end of the year, but he was awful at times. He still wasn't great when he was on the field. He was better. And where are their weapons? They're banged up at receiver. And you look at, McMillan's a rookie making his first NFL start. So this is a chance for Jacksonville to come out and play good defense.
All right, give me a score prediction, Pete. How do you see it going in the opener?
I think Jacksonville wins that game. I think they're the better team. I think being at home, I think that matters in an opener. And I think Liam Cohen will get that offense cranked up. They're going to score some points. I think they win that game, and maybe by a touchdown.
Pete's point about the wide receiver core for Carolina is a good one, right? They trade away Adam Thielen because I think Jalen Coker is an emerging player, and then he goes on injured reserve a couple of days later. Austen, Xavier Legette, they have high hopes for going into year 2. But, the book on McMillan is you got to get your hands on him because at times he's struggled to get off the line of scrimmage. So that's one thing I'm going to look for today. Are the Jags giving him that cushion, or are they getting up in his face and making him fight for it?
And when we talk about Tet McMillan, we haven't seen a lot of him in the preseason games. You've seen a lot of highlights on Twitter and everything during training camp, but you haven't seen this team really, this offense, in terms of their full capabilities in the preseason, just because Canales, their head coach, chose to really push them in training camp, but not really showcase them in the preseason games. It's funny because I feel like we talk about Bryce Young. He's got to prove himself again. Well, so does Trevor Lawrence. We haven't seen Trevor Lawrence in a meaningful football game in a long time here due to that injury, right? So Bryce Young comes in the second half of the season, has some confidence, gets some swagger to him, and now he's bringing that into the season. Well, Trevor Lawrence was out last year with an injury, so can he bring that swagger back with him too, game 1 against the Carolina Panthers?
All right, folks. PRI Productions is the official event production company of the Jaguars. They have everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. I had the chance to visit with the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, as you just mentioned, out to prove something. But we started with this conversation about opening day.
For sure. I mean, just the emotions before a game. And even preseason games, you get those too. Like every time you step on the field, and it means something. And I know, especially as a quarterback, you go all off season without getting hit. You're practicing, you're trying to play everything as real as you can. But then when that first game's there, it's just a different feeling. So just the excitement, still get butterflies for every game. I mean, all that, especially to start the year. And, obviously clean slate. Everyone's 0-0, and it's a fun beginning of the year.
And it's really a clean slate around here because you've got the new coach and the new staff and the new offense. What about this feels different? Because there is a different feeling in the building.
Yeah, I think just the energy. We have a lot of energy in the building, whether that's some of the new staff, obviously a lot of change there, but then also new additions, players that we got, whether it was the draft or free agency. Everyone that's been brought in here has a similar way that they go about it, just professionalism, energy, attention to detail. It means something to them. And we've had a lot of guys like that here already, but I think just the gelling of, some people from the outside, the guys that were already here, some of the new staff members, all those things are, working together really well. And we haven't played a game yet. We got a lot of work to do, and we got to go win games. That's why we're all here. So we got to take care of that part of it, but it feels great.
If you, in life, learn more from failure than success, what did last year, a tough year, teach you?
Yeah, I mean, just nothing's, I guess, not to take anything for granted. Nothing's guaranteed, especially in this sport. You can get hurt. You can miss time just like that. Everything's, I wouldn't say it's going great. We weren't playing super well, but I was healthy and felt like any week we were going to turn the corner, and then boom, you get hurt. You're down for the year. You miss the rest of the season, and now I'm sitting here, hadn't played in forever, and you kind of get more appreciation for being able to play this game and being healthy, and just so grateful that I'm back and ready to play this year because I miss being out there.
Do you feel like you have to prove something?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I think for myself, this team, based on how we played last year, I think even just the fresh start with everyone here, we have a lot of excitement, a lot of ambition and goals and dreams of things we want to accomplish as a team. And like we said, it's a clean slate, and everyone starts at the same spot. So that's what's cool about this game is you have to earn it, and whatever team does that ends up being happy at the end of the year. So we got to take it 1 week at a time. But yeah, I feel like we have a lot to prove, and I have a lot to prove as an individual too.
Can you define the standard that's been set here since Liam came in?
Yeah, I think, attention to detail. There's a lot of things that we talk about, but being a tough player, being smart are two big things, and just the attention to detail in different situations. What we're trying to do as an offense, the details are harped on so much because they're so important. And And now we're building this game plan this week, and this is the first experience I've had with this staff of building a game plan. You see how many details, the work that's put into it to put us in the best situation so that we can go and play and run good plays against the right look. And it's not going to be perfect, but the amount of detail that goes into it and what they're trying to harp on for us as players to take from that so we can go play fast and play well, I've been really impressed by it. And I think that's part of our, team identity.
And finally, the offensive line is basically 3 new starters. What have you gained from that group so far? Obviously, your relationship with the offensive line is always so important, but they seem confident, they seem physical, they seem motivated to prove they can do it.
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in that group. And, we have a lot of other players, too, that aren't starters that can come in and play well, that have had to play a lot this offseason. So that's been good for us, honestly, to rotate guys and see who can do what. But talking about the 5 starting up front, I mean, those guys are awesome. I think to see how they've gelled together over the offseason, that room's gotten really close, and I've had fun just spending time with them, getting to know some of the new guys more. I feel like I've built those relationships and really enjoy being around those guys. And the guys that have already been here, I feel like I have that rapport with them already from the last couple of years. But just seeing everyone come together, that's what's so important in that room, is everyone being on the same page, playing for each other. It's the most sacrificial position in football, for sure. So all of them have to think the same way, and I think they're all thinking that way.
What would an opening day win mean for this team?
I mean, it's huge. You take it 1 week at a time, and this one's important. I mean, it really is. You start the season 1-0. You're feeling better than if you started 0-1. I mean, either way, it doesn't guarantee anything for you, but it puts you one game closer to, at the end of the season when you look up and you need to make the playoffs, you need to win 10-plus games. You look back at when you're sitting there at 9 wins or 8 wins or whatever it may be, and you look back and think, man, if we could have got that one in week 1. So they mean something, and obviously, even though it's not a division opponent, this is a big one, and we got to go take care of business.
Second 1-0 start in his 5th NFL season today against the Carolina Panthers. Well, coming up in about 15 minutes, Jeff Lockeman and Bucky Brooks join us from the booth. But up next,
just like the running backs, the growth of those guys, the quarterback room, and Trevor specifically, has been awesome to see. He's embraced what we've asked him to do with a growth mindset.
We'll hear from offensive coordinator Grant Udinsky. The Panthers and Jags are coming up at 1 o'clock in Jacksonville, and this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA to not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units, to not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
The kick is up. It's good! Field goals for Firehouse Subs are back. That means when the Jags score from deep, you do too. Anytime the Jags score a field goal that's 40 yards or more, you can get a free medium sub with the purchase of any other medium sub online or in the app for 4 days following the game. So cheer on the Jags, watch for the big kicks, and get your buy one, get one free medium sub at participating Firehouse Subs throughout Jacksonville when you use the app. The hottest subs in Duval. See firehousesubs.com for offer terms.
Frank Frangi here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hey, fellow Floridians, I'm Brenda Marie, pet parent to 7 precious pups and a huge fan of natural gas. Hush, hush, you guys. When it's bath time, we love our natural gas tankless water heater. We get endless hot water when we need it, use less energy, and save money, too. Aw, yes, we do.
Now earn up to a $700 cashback rebate for installing a new energy-efficient natural gas water heater. To learn more, go to peoplesgas.com/rebates.
Hey fans, it's Tyson Campbell, cornerback for your Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, make your game day even tastier with Al's Pizza in the stadium. And you can enjoy even more with the pizza kickoff promo after the game. When the Jaguars get 2 interceptions in one game, you'll score 50% off one pizza any size you want for 48 hours after the game. Just tell them you want the Jags Pick promo when you order. Up your game and your pizza with Al's at the stadium or any of their locations.
And welcome back to the Publix Tailgate Show, sponsored by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Brian, Mike, and Austen with you from the Hyundai Studios, and it's time for a weekly commentary from Rick Ballou.
Big day in Duval as the Liam Cohen era begins. A brand new front office, Cohen's new coaching staff, and on my count, 25 new players. And it's much more than just a turnaround. It's the changing of the guard from a team a year ago where losing was accepted. Never seen anything like it before. Really bizarre, and I feel so bad for you fans. Last year's team gave you absolutely nothing, especially in September. They were 0-4. It's basically like they said, watch this, Jag fans. We're going to give you nothing to cheer about all season long. That brings us to today and the importance of this game. I've done this for 34 years, and I've never said this before, but I believe it. Today's game means more to the fans than it does to the team. You may think that's absurd, and that's fine. Bottom line, win or lose today, they're on to Cincinnati. Early in the week, they'll turn the page. They're professionals. They'll focus on their next opponent. You, no way. Jags lose, your mental health is going to be crushed, especially with the schedule that is set up here in September. So I'll say it again. There's no such thing as a must-win in the NFL in Week 1, but for you, Jaguar fans, this one is. Today, Jacksonville 27, Carolina 17.
Catch more with Rick on Into the Night with Rick Ballou, weeknights from 6 to 8 on 1010XL. Offensive coordinator Grant Udinsky has had a busy offseason. He's worked steadily to build an offense around head coach Liam Cohen's philosophy and the talent on the roster. Physical was the most often used word to describe what coaches and players expect to see today. And Udinsky echoed that sentiment after practice on Thursday.
So I can't say physical, is that what you're saying? Because that's probably what I would pick. Hopefully it looks physical with the way we come off the ball, run, attack people, or even in the pass game, routes, coming off the line at the top of the route, break points, trying to be physical in everything we do.
Liam brings a history with the running game, and obviously this team's most recent history has not been all that successful. So tell me, how far do you think you've come in the running game in getting it to where Liam likes it to be and where you expect it to be?
Well, I really can't speak on the past and what's been here before, but I've been pleased with the progress we've made since we've gotten here in the spring with in terms of understanding what the intent of the run game is, kind of the philosophy on some of the plays and different concepts that we've been practicing, and then the actual execution of the techniques and fundamentals.
You don't always see four running backs who are distinctly different. To have that sort of a depth at running back has got to be a luxury for an offensive coordinator.
Absolutely. It's been great to see those guys and see them develop day in, day out, week in, week out. And you hit the nail on the head in saying each guy is different. Each guy's got different strengths and different assets that they bring to the table. So they've been a lot of fun to work with and watch them grow.
Have I stalled long enough on the Trevor question? Because you knew it was coming. Here's a quarterback who has missed a lot of time last year because of injury, and he's been the conversation point as quarterbacks are. What have you seen from him? What do you expect from him as he starts his fifth NFL season?
Just like the running backs, the growth of those guys, the quarterback room and Trevor specifically, has been awesome to see. He's embraced what we've asked him to do with a growth mindset, which is extremely encouraging because what we're asking him to do is extremely difficult. It's not like he can go out there and just turn his mind off and play. We're putting a lot on his plate, and he's managed that well. It's a work in progress, and hopefully that growth continues all the way throughout the season, but I love the way he's embraced the challenge.
Well, and I've seen him. The average fan can see the growth if they watch the preseason games. Some of the plays he made in the New Orleans game on third down, staying in the pocket. He just seems comfortable. Is that an apt description?
I would hope so. We work really hard to make sure he can feel that way and he can go out there and play that way. And he works really hard to prepare and make sure he can play that way. There's going to be challenging moments. Defenses are going to pose problems, and there's going to be looks like Coach Cohen talks about that are gray, and they're going to have to be able to play in the gray. But we do as much as we can to try to eliminate that and make it black and white and let those guys go out there and play fast.
We talked about physical, that obviously the offensive line has 2 new starters and more new contributors. Do you like where that group is as they get ready for opening day?
Yeah, it's a little bit like the running back room in terms of the depth and the flexibility of that room. I've talked about it a little bit in terms of those guys being able to play outside, inside, left, and right, where we've mix and match guys. But ultimately, it's awesome to see that cohesion of those guys and that room come together. The way they're playing together, the way they're communicating has been great to see. And that's another position group that hopefully you see progress week to week as the season continues.
And one more question I have to ask is Travis Hunter. Everybody's got their eyes on number 12. Not from what he's going to do, obviously, but how you've balanced bringing him along, offense, defense. How challenging has that been to come up with a plan and then stick to it?
Yeah, see, you said that I knew the Trevor question was coming, but this is the one you really buried. Usually this is the one people go with to start with, but I don't know. Certainly every position has its own challenges. His challenges are just unique because of the fact that he's playing both sides of the ball. It's been great to get to work with camp and those guys trying to manage the schedule, and he's attacked it with absolute enthusiasm. He's a football guy, studies, works at it, and has great focus and commitment to being able to do this. So I'm excited to see it come to fruition on Sunday.
And here's the other one you probably anticipated, the opening day question. You've been around this game a long time, 6 seasons in the NFL. Opening day still bring out a little jitter, a little nervousness, a little energy?
I don't know about nervousness. I would think by that time, by kickoff, you feel prepared enough where it's not nerves, but it's mostly excitement at that point. Really, at that point, excited to see those guys put all that work on display. They've worked so hard to get to that point. They put in so much time in preparation, so it's really excitement for them to go out there and show what they can do.
The Jaguars' first-year offensive coordinator likes where his offensive line is. What do you think?
Well, I mean, we can only go by what they're telling us, right? I mean, they brought in some guys for competition. They brought in a couple guys to start. But I think, Austen, they drafted Wyatt Milam with the idea that he was going to push for a starting role. Ezra Cleveland responded with a fantastic offseason and cemented his spot. So I think what they're showing you is they're not going to go just based on what their preconceived notions were. They're going to let this competition play out. Walker Little had a couple of guys move over to the left side at times and challenge him there. So I got to believe that the 5 that they're going with are the best 5. I do think they've got better depth, but what's the high end? What's the ceiling for this line? That's what I don't know. Can they be a top 15 line, a top 20 line? What are they?
Yeah, it's hard to know until we see it in the live reps, right? Like the preseason's one thing, but until we see one-on-ones, we're going to know exactly what this offensive line is. But I will say this, I do like the depth, right? Because the past couple of years, you didn't necessarily see that so much. And with Milam and Monaheim now, that they bring that certain like mentality where, and I made the joke before, Milam's he has like a small dog. It makes zero sense because the guy is an absolute, like in terms of his mentality and everything, he's going to get after you a little bit even after the whistle. So it's really cool to see these guys, these young guys try to push these older guys for playing time, because if you're a veteran in this team, you have to, try to look over your shoulder the entire time because these guys are coming for you.
I think you mentioned that Anton Harrison had been pushed.
Yeah.
Same thing, really, for Walker Little, who had never been able to earn the starting job until this year. And people think, well, they paid him last year. He didn't really have to earn it. No, he had to earn it. He had to earn it. Fred Johnson was pushing him. You had Chuma Edoga, who they brought in to play on the right side. However, he played left tackle last year when Tyler Guyton went down in Dallas. So there was enough competition spread across the roster that he had to go and work his butt off this year.
Look, I think if Chuma doesn't get injured in training camp, he might have been the right guard on this team, which says a lot because they paid so much money to get Patrick McCary in. And that's the other thing, versatility, right? They got a lot of guys who are interchangeable. So if one guy goes down, they've got a lot of different combinations that they can play.
Well, from the backyard to the beaches, the Ford F-150 with available Pro Power on board gives you the power of a mobile generator. Ford, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. See your local Ford dealer today. How about just one more thought about this offensive line? The last 2 years, this team has been at the bottom of the league in converting third down and 3 yards or less. It really has restricted the offense. They couldn't stay on the field. You can't open the playbook. Do you know enough about this offense to believe that they will be able to change that about them?
I mean, I think when you start incorporating the Liam Cohen motions, when you start incorporating just these various wrinkles here, it's going to help them out a lot, right? Because you can just go with the base offense and everything and just be a power run football team, or you can keep defensive lines and linebackers guessing. I think that's what Liam Cohen's going to do here.
Yeah, I think ultimately, though, you got to be able to line up and move somebody in short yardage. And I don't know if you can show enough of that to believe that in the preseason.
We'll find out. Well, folks, coming up at 11 o'clock, it's hour 2 of the Publix Tailgate Show. But when we return, Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman and Bucky Brooks join us from the booth. The Panthers and Jaguars are coming up in a Week 1 opening day showdown with a 1 o'clock kickoff time. And you're listening to the Publix Tailgate Show here on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Catch epic showdowns in Cincinnati and Denver. Turn up the heat in Phoenix and Las Vegas. Support your Jaguars in divisional clashes in Houston, Nashville, and Indianapolis. View real-time parking, security, and flight updates on flyjacks.com. Whether you stick with the play call or you need an audible, they'll be your teammate every step of the way. Book your nonstop flights today. Learn more at flyjacks.com.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at Everbank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Brought to you by FDOT.
Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour. Restaurant Orsay also offers full-service catering for any of your event needs. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale at 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com.
Hey, fellow Floridians.
We're the Wombles. We're retirees with 5 grandkids.
And huge fans of natural gas. When the kiddos visit from Ohio, we go through towels like pool water. That's why we love our natural gas dryer. It dries in a jiff.
So we use less energy and save money, too.
Yep. Get involved!
Now earn up to a $300 cashback rebate when you install a new energy-efficient natural gas dryer. To learn more, go to peoplesgas.com/rebates.
And welcome back to the Publix Tailgate Show. Brian Sexton, Mike Dempsey, Austen Lane from the Hyundai Studios. Panthers and Jaguars kick off on opening day at 1 o'clock. And today's game is presented by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And time now to head to the Heritage of North Florida broadcast booth at Everbank Stadium and welcome in Jeff Lageman and Bucky Brooks. Fellas, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Want to give us a forecast?
What's that, Brian?
Want to give us a forecast? It looks a little overcast right now.
Well, I mean, it's cloudy, you know. I mean, when you get the northeast winds, you know, you don't have to worry about crazy thunderstorms, and I'm knocking on wood as I say that. You know, I mean, typically a northeaster, you've got maybe a chance of some light rain here or there, but the cloud cover is going to be nice and keep things a little cooler than expected.
All right, let's get started. Finding Solutions presented by UF Health, the proud healthcare partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Michael.
All right, guys. Well, here's the question. Will Liam Cohen's guidance be the solution to bringing out the best in Trevor Lawrence this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think he spent most of the offseason really getting on the same page with Trevor Lawrence. And I think we've seen flashes throughout the preseason on what this offense can look like when Trevor is in full control of the offense. And I think what you're doing is taking the things that he does really well, utilizing quick rhythm passing game, some movement things, and also putting the receivers in a position to excel. But it comes down to the offensive line. If the offensive line holds up its end of the bargain with the running game, the passing game is going to follow suit.
Yeah, I think that running game is the whole key there, right? I mean, look, over the last X number of years, 4 years, Trevor's kind of had not a great running game. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, and then the point of emphasis with that running game hasn't been there. I think there's been a lot of lip service paid to that. So, I mean, that's going to help Trevor. And then I think Trevor's got the best collection of weapons maybe that he's had in his career. Look, you got three guys that can take the top off of a defense. You got a stable of running backs that I think are 4 deep. I don't want to say that this is the best offensive line that he's had, Bucky, but I think the emphasis is going to be there, which will make them better.
Yeah, and the emphasis on the running game being really, really critical. Liam Cohen coming from what he did in Tampa when they had the 5th best rushing attack and they changed gears in the middle of the season. Being committed to the running game is going to open things up immensely in the passing game.
Guys, when we talk about this Jaguars defense, obviously very porous last year, gave up some big plays, couldn't stop the run. You bring in Chuba Hubbard now, who is very versatile. It's going to be a challenge to the linebackers. But how do you shut this Panthers offense down, which we haven't really seen a lot in the preseason, but we're hearing a lot of hype out of training camp?
Well, I hate to do this, Austen, but we got to go back to last year. I mean, it was terrible. I mean, the communication in the back end, the explosive plays allowed, none of it was good. And you hope that the presence of Andrew Wingard and Eric Murray in the back end kind of helps stabilize things to not allow that to happen, and also the presence of Anthony Campanelli, the defensive coordinator. So I expect them to make a huge improvement. But just like you said, if you don't stop Chuba Hubbard, I think it's going to could make it for a long day, because they love to have the running game and then all that play action, getting Bryce Young on the move, Bucky, so to speak, off of it.
It is off of that, but Jeff talks about it. Number one rule, alignment, assignment, adjustment. The Jaguars have to get lined up. They have to know exactly what they're doing, and they have to be able to adjust to any motions or quirky things that the Panthers do. Then it comes down to playing where you got to tackle and you got to run to the ball. If they do those 5 things, alignment, assignment, adjusting, tackle, and run to the ball, they'll be fine without all the schematic wizardry that is necessary to play well in the football league.
And I can't believe that we've been this far into our conversation and we haven't talked Travis Hunter yet. I mean, seriously, I mean, everybody from outside this planet, the planet I'm talking about is Planet Jaguar and Planet Panther, is thinking about Travis Hunter. And, I mean, are you guys not curious to see what this is going to look like today? I am.
We can ask one question at a time, Jeff. I figured the quarterback was a pretty important one to start with, but the next question was going to be, what are your expectations for Travis Hunter today? So there you go. Have at it.
And the crazy part is, Mike, is that, you're right, and that the quarterback is always the most important conversation, but from people on the outside, it's really not. I mean, you've got 2 first overall pick quarterbacks that really haven't satisfied the fan bases yet. So the biggest maybe emphasis as far as eye concentration is going to be Travis Hunter. I don't know what it's going to look like. I think he's going to have a role on both sides of the ball. I think offense will be the focal point, but I think defense, he's going to be involved, whether it's nickel package, I don't know. I'm just excited to watch him, because the one thing I do know about he's a premier athlete.
Yeah, premier athlete. He's a top guy on either side of the ball. I would say this. He will be a 1.5-way player today, because he's going to play full-time on offense, and then they're going to put him in and select opportunities to play on defense. And so 3rd down, red zone, 2-minute, end of game, got to get off the field. You'll see Travis Hunter out there, because the best thing that he does on offense and defense, he is a see-ball, get-ball athlete. And when the ball is in his area, he's going to come down with it, whether it's on offense or defense.
I just hope that he's clean mentally. Because, I mean, you know this, Bucky, and the playbook in college is probably 10 pages, on defense. In the NFL, it might be 100. On offense, the playbook in college might be 30 plays. In the NFL, it's 200. I mean, so you hope that he's confident in knowing what he's doing on both sides of the ball when he gets in there, so that he can play fast and we can see that premier athlete.
It's going to take a couple weeks, guys, to figure out what type of offense, what type of defense we have. But when we talk about Travis Hunter, Where is he needed more right now? Is he needed more on this offense with Trevor Lawrence, or is he needed more in the secondary last year that gave up a lot of big plays?
That's a great question. But when we're talking about a 4-13 football team, you can't say both.
Yeah. I mean, he's needed. Obviously, I would say the reason why they want to put him on offense is make sure that they provide Trevor Lawrence with enough firepower to be what we thought he would be when he was selected number 1 overall. So putting him there, De'Ami Brown, you got Brian Thomas Jr., you now have guys that not only can take the top off of it, but they can do things when they get the ball in his hand. So he'll be pivotal there. On defense, if we don't stop the run, Travis Hunter being on the field will be a non-factor because you can't force opponents to throw until you stop the run. So the big guys up front will determine how important he is on defense.
Yeah, look at his college numbers last year. I mean, he had over 1,000 yards receiving. He touched the ball, how many times was it, like 70-something times in that range, right?
Yeah.
So what's better, having him touch the ball 70-plus times a game or a year or 4, in interceptions like he did last year at Colorado? I'll take the 70. Put him on offense.
Bucky, you made the point if you can't stop the run, it really doesn't matter sometimes. Well, Carolina couldn't do that last year. Granted, new year, but do you think the Jags are going to have success imposing their will there?
It comes down to the commitment because the running game sometimes, it's like cooking in a crock pot. It takes a while for the thing to get going. It's not going to happen in the first quarter, the second quarter, but you don't see the returns on the investment into the third and fourth quarters. Are we patient enough and are we disciplined enough to stay committed to the run? Because if we stay committed to the run, that is how you win games in the fourth quarter because you wear teams out and you're able to control the game.
I think it's clear that they want to be. All you heard all week long, listening to players and coaches, was physical. The word was physical, physical, physical. And I think that's what we expect to see today is a team that shows its physicality. Jeff, Bucky, have a good broadcast today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, boys.
Thanks, guys.
And that'll do it for the first hour on opening day.
Quick one.
Yeah, it does seem to go fast. Of course, you've got another one.
Oh, I'm sticking around for 2 more hours.
You'll be here for hours and hours.
Hours and hours. But, just
hours.
ready for kickoff.
And hours as the fans start to arrive. Don't forget to be patient and bring that with you as you come to the stadium today. Not a lot has changed. If you were here for the Steelers game, the Jags are reminding season ticket holders when they leave the stadium today just to stay on the main concourse until they get to their exit point, which is closest to their parking lots. And obviously, you can look and find all the information about getting in and out of the stadium the easiest way possible when you visit jaguars.com/stadium. All right, that'll do it. I'm going to hand it over to JP Shadrick for hour number 2, top stories of the day, and much more. Coming up, the Panthers and Jaguars coming your way at 1 o'clock in Week 1 opening day action, the 31st season of Jaguars football, folks. Enjoy it. You're listening to the Publix Tailgate Show, and this is Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
What's Here is a place that generations have trusted to help their kids grow up healthy and strong. What's Here are caregivers with knowledge and expertise rivaling any children's hospital in the world. What's Here is the only Level 1 pediatric trauma center in our region. What's Here is Wolfson Children's Hospital with the technology, research, and dedication to save and change countless young lives. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at Everbank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
This season, the road to kickoff starts at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. From Bay Meadows to Arlington to Westside, Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram is locally owned and proud to serve the First Coast with real pricing and a lifetime powertrain warranty at no extra cost. And let's be honest, there's no vehicle better built for tailgating than a Jeep or a Ram. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Bay Meadows, Arlington, and Westside. 3 locations, 1 legendary team. Federal employees keep our country going, and GEHA is proud to keep them going with health plans exclusively for them. GEHA was started by postal employees in 1937, and today they offer all federal employees a network of 1.7 million providers and a health plan for every stage of life. GEHA is trusted by millions of federal employees and retirees across the country. GEHA. Find your federal health plan at GEHA.com.
Game day means it's time to get loud, get proud, and get real. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Deep Eddy Vodka brings real flavor made with real ingredients to every tailgate, watch party, and post-game toast. Handcrafted in small batches in Austen, Texas, Deep Eddy Vodka is distilled 10 times and is made with purified Texas water, real fruit juice, and pure cane sugar. Wherever you're cheering on the Jaguars, make every moment a real one with Deep Eddy Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Please stay drink responsibly. Deep Eddy Vodka is a product of Deep Eddy Distilling Company, Austen, Texas. 35 to 40% alcohol by volume, distilled from corn.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
And welcome in. It is hour 2 of the Publix Tailgate Show. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. It is kickoff weekend, week 1 in the NFL, and we're 2 hours away from the Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. A 1 o'clock kickoff time at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey and Austen Lane. We're at the Hyundai Studios in the Miller Electric Center across the street from the bank. The traffic is starting to file into downtown, and here we go. Finally, week 1, real football. They're going to keep score. Well, they kept score in the preseason, but it matters now. It matters now moving ahead. New coaching staff, a lot of new faces around here, and a new era of Jaguars football.
Hey, hope springs eternal, right? And Austen, I think every year you've got that new renewed hope, but when you root out everything, from the coaching staff to the front office to the way you do business, right? I mean, there is a feeling of freshness around this football team.
There's a feeling of freshness, and there's a difference now because you talk about, you get a guy like Travis Hunter, who everyone's talking about, right? So there's hype there, but also this feels like a game that everyone thinks the Jaguars should win, right? And it's very rare, I think, the past couple of years where it's like, we'll see how it goes. Like, no, it almost seems like a must-win game for the Jacksonville Jaguars to beat the Carolina Panthers at home.
Game day weather brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Water less, currently 84 degrees, a high of 87 today, and just walking around outside, it is humid, 80% humidity. There is a chance of rain and storms a little bit later today, especially in the first half of the game. And here are some of today's top stories. We start with Liam Cohen making his debut as head coach today, and plenty of off-season talk about process. But today, a winning result is needed.
We've talked so much about the process that drives results. We can't lose sight of that process. We used to kind of talk about process over results. Well, those results matter. The process in which we get to the games and the way that we game plan, the way that we operate throughout the week, the way that we communicate on game day, that's the part that you're kind of anxious to see how we handle a true game.
Yeah, and we've seen how he's handled the offseason so far on the hunt, other behind-the-scenes access that the team has. But now he's got to take it to that locker room and on the field on game day. And first-time head coach, he's going to find out a lot in a hurry about operation and game management and dealing with adversity as well.
No, Austen, you can speak to this a lot better than us. I mean, that process is important, right? But look, the fans at 4 o'clock today want to know what the result is, right? But you can't skip the steps to get there.
Yeah, and you know what? You only get one chance to make a first impression. And obviously Liam Cohen was brought here for one reason, to turn the offense around, to turn Trevor Lawrence around. So there's going to be pressure on him now because not only do you have to win this football game, I feel like, but Trevor's got to show out, right? Now we need the running backs to show out as well. So, yes, there is a lot on the plate right now for Liam Cohen. And by the way, you're responsible for the defense too. I mean, you're the head coach.
That's
so
right.
You have to set up the culture, man, and make sure everyone's on point here.
Speaking of Trevor Lawrence, he's now in his 3rd offense and has a lot to prove entering year 5 in the National Football League.
I mean, I think for myself, this team, based on
how we played last year. I think even just the fresh start with everyone here, we have a lot of excitement, a lot of ambition and goals and dreams of things we want to accomplish as a team. And like we said, it's a clean slate and everyone starts at the same spot. That's what's cool about this game is you have to earn it. And whatever team does that ends up being happy at the end of the year.
Well, Trevor Lawrence has missed time in the last 2 seasons toward the end of each of those campaigns. And third offense, year 5 in the NFL, Austen, and sometime the rubber's got to hit the road with the quarterback.
You know, I always say it's not about how much money you make, it's what the money says. And the money says that he's a franchise quarterback, right? So he has to perform like one. Now I think the Jacksonville Jaguars this year have done a great job in giving him the weapons like Travis Hunter, you know, bringing in some free agents as well and boosting that offensive line where there's really no more excuses for Trevor. Like, this is the year to prove that he's worth what he's making.
Yeah, look, we've got to get him off the hotter starts, I think, and Liam Cohen can scheme up some easier throws for him, and that's a big part of the equation. He's got to have the protection. He's got to have the coaching. He's got the weapons, we believe, but he's also got to prove that he can stay on the field, which is what you alluded to there, JP. He's missed a lot of time.
Missed a lot of time over the last year, especially last season, of course. We know about the shoulder issue and then the concussion at the end of the season, but had another shoulder issue the year before, was a concussion at the end of the season as well, so got to keep him upright and on the field for the Jaguars. And yes, Travis Hunter is on this football team as well. Wide receiver and defensive back will play both ways today, and he's ready for action.
Just excited and ready to play. Really the main thing, see what we can go out there and do, and just hopefully we get a win.
Man, a few words in front of the media this week. That's okay. I think it feels like he's over all this talk. Let's go play some football.
Let him save that energy, man. He's going to need it as much as anybody out there. Look, we're all excited to see what he can do here. I think he probably is a better defensive back at this stage of his career, but who isn't more excited to see him with the ball in his hands on offense? Now, great if you can get a pick and return it, but you can create opportunities for him, Austen, to get him involved and use that great athletic ability to run after the catch, and I think they're going to utilize him early and often today.
Listen, it only took one preseason game to show he may be the best cover corner on this team, and I think that the biggest narrative going forward now is if the Jaguars do struggle a little bit is, well, why isn't he playing more on defense? Why isn't he playing more on offense? And I think it's going to be on Liam Cohen here to kind of, set the tempo straight and say, hey, maybe he's going to be on a snap count. This is the amount of numbers he's going to use and go from there, because the last thing I want to do is go into a stadium and ask Liam Cohen, why aren't you using him here? Why aren't you using him there? Just point to the snap count and say, that's why.
Or, hey, if he's hot one day, forget the snap count.
Just
keep giving him the football, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, man. But injuries happen, though, JP, right? I mean, this has got to be a marathon, not a sprint. I understand. We want to come out here and see, the full showcase of Travis Hunter. This is a rookie. Let's take our time here a little bit and let's ease him into it.
17-game season and hopefully playoffs after that as well for the Jaguars. We continue on offense on the offensive line. Some changes there this year, including at center. Robert Hainsey joining the Jags in free agency from Tampa Bay, and he is a captain now on offense. He talked about this week what they want to be up front physically.
We've practiced physical, we've played physical, but we have a whole hell of a lot to show up front, front seven, offense and defense. When you watch football, it's evident who wins the line of scrimmage a lot of times wins the game. So that's something we have in our minds for sure, is to be that team and not to out-physical you, to out-tough you, and just to continue to do what we're good at. Be ourselves, like I've been saying. Trust our technique and fundamentals. We don't have to be anyone else. We don't have to be superheroes. We just need to be ourselves, and that is plenty, especially with this group that we have.
Jaguars were awful in short yardage last year, and it starts there on the offensive line. Brought in a couple of new faces to help the cause there, and this is where it begins. They've talked all offseason, Austen, about this from the top of the organization all the way down. The physicality has to be there, and we're going to find out starting today if it's there or not.
I mean, we're going to find out real quick, right? Because we've heard it through the entire training camp, the physicality is improved. But until we see it against, legit competition, one-on-ones, we're not sure. And keep in mind, you have a Carolina Panthers defense that was one of the worst in the league in terms of stopping the run. They get their lifeblood back in Derek Brown now, who is really the heart of that defensive line. So it's going to be a great battle in the trenches.
Yeah, A'Shawn Robinson's a really tough run defender as well. But you can't get over the fact that they were so bad in that category last year. Look, Robert Hainsey, we talk about him being brought in here because he knows the offense. He can help mentor Trevor Lawrence a little bit. This is a guy who was a rookie, was drafted to take his job last year in Tampa. So, I hope that that's enough. I hope he does have more in the tank than that would indicate, and that, we love the versatility, all the inner matching parts, but the physicality, like you said, until we see it, we can't really know.
Let's go to defense now, and new defensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli ready for his debut calling plays in the NFL and excited to learn about his personnel on that side of the ball.
You know, throughout the course of the season, you really figure out who you are, what you really do well, and who does what well. Most NFL coaches would tell you as the season progresses, you're continually learning and evaluating, but we like what we've learned to this point, just looking back at it in retrospect from the spring till now. The guys have done a really good job.
Yeah, that's Anthony Campanelli. And, you know, every new defensive coordinator comes in, they're going to be attacked. They're going to fly around. They're going to do all these things. What is this going to look like on defense, Austen?
I mean, I think it's going to look like, it's going to hopefully look a lot better than last year, right? Because the bar is set so low from last year where if you're a defensive coordinator coming in now, like you're pretty confident you can improve off of last year's performance. I'm going to go off of based on what I saw in the preseason. We saw a lot of exotic looks. We saw a lot of blitzing, which you don't really see in the preseason because it's meat and potatoes. So I think if we see some of that in the preseason, we'll see even more than week 1 against the Panthers here.
Yeah, I think, look, as we've alluded to several times, Austen said it flat out, you got to be able to have those defensive tackles play better, and you got to earn the right to rush your passer oftentimes. So if you're going to let Carolina run it on you, you're going to be in trouble.
Jaguars defensive line ready to take a step. Josh Hines-Allen 2 sacks away from tying the franchise career sacks record, and some changes up front for the D-line.
I'm excited. I think those guys are excited. I think we got a good grasp of how we're going to play this year, what we're expecting up front, and just letting it go. So I think every guy that missed those time and, missed training camp a little bit, and, Eric's been on the back end. I think he's adjusted really well. Mason's adjusted really well, and those guys understand, hey, we know how to play up front, and we're all going to play fast, physical, and aggressive.
That's Josh Hines-Allen. Of course, Trayvon Walker on the other side. Eric Armstead moving inside this year. We'll see what the 11th-year veteran has up front. The Panthers left tackle doubtful at the end of the week and with the appendix issue. He doesn't have one anymore. They took it out. So he most likely will not play today. We'll find out in inactives coming up. So that means they're digging deep week 1 with a backup tackle most likely.
Yeah, which is feeding right into one of the strengths of this football team. I mean, you can get after it. Josh Hines-Allen got a pretty good track record against Carolina. Trayvon Walker's got a good track record on opening day. And I expect to see both of them get to the quarterback today. And
it all starts, though, with stopping the run in Chuba Hubbard. If you look last year, Chuba Hubbard, in terms of yards per carry, was one of the highest running backs in the NFL. The problem is they were down by so much they couldn't really use him in the running game because they had to pass. So you stop Chuba Hubbard first, you stop that run game, and then you get after the quarterback.
Yeah, don't forget Rico Dowdle, by the way, who was a 1,000-yard rusher last year, averaged about 4.7 yards a carry, so he can get it done too.
They have an ETN as well back there.
They
rookie,
do.
His brother.
They do. I don't think he's going to be as big a factor today, but yes, they do.
Jordan Lewis makes his Jaguars debut at cornerback against a pair of big-bodied receivers, Tet McMillan, Xavier Legette for Carolina. Lewis this week on how to defend a big-bodied receiver.
You try to get your hands on, disrupt timing, make sure that, Bryce, you disrupt timing so, the line can get there, D-line can get there. And we got a pretty good D-line to go out there and chase them around. But it's definitely a big challenge, especially when you got a guy that's, mobile like Bryce is and guys that can go up there and get the ball. So it's definitely a big challenge. But, try to get physical with those guys and, throw out some timing. And that's pretty much what they can do. So it's going to be a really good challenge for us.
Tet McMillan, the rookie out of Arizona, is 6'4", 219 listed. Xavier Legette, second-year player out of South Carolina, 6'3", 227, Austen. So, key to kind of slow down that timing up front. If they get loose, then who knows what can happen in the secondary.
Well, you mentioned it. You have a rookie, and then you have a second-year guy in Legette who, has played, I wouldn't say the entire reps in the series and everything. He's been kind of sparingly used the past year, but you talk about a team right now that is young. I think they have 12 rookies on this Carolina Panthers team, right? So they're still kind of learning their way, trying to find their footing as well. It's on this Jaguars defense now to try to use some of that experience and throw these young guys off.
Yeah, don't forget Hunter Renfrow, who, even though he got cut, right, I think is a perfect fit. He knows the system, comes right back in. I expect him to be the primary slot receiver today, and very savvy guy, been a former 1,000-yard receiver in the league.
I walked by Hunter Renfrow at the Senior Bowl at the media thing, and I thought he was a scout.
Yeah, he's got the receding hairline. Just looks like an average guy sitting on this couch watching football, right? He really does.
He can be a problem, though.
He can.
Yeah, certainly, in the slot. And finally, Andrew Wingard earning a starting job at safety today. He was a regular starter back in 2021, but has seen spot starting time since then. He's ready to show it today.
It means a lot. I've said it many times. This is what I see myself as. So
I've become what I've thought about, and I'm just going to keep going. I got, a lot of aspirations, a lot of dreams, and it's cool because I've thought about it, and it has become reality. So super excited, and, I love it here, and I can't wait to be out there, hear that crowd go again and just get this place turned up. Super excited.
Yeah, I think everybody is. The safety positions last year were a problem on defense, and they've made changes at both. Eric Murray, veteran player, will get the start on the other side at safety, and then Andrew Wingard. So guys who know where they're supposed to be, may not be the top-end speed, different but they're going to be lined up the right way.
And you talk about Dewey, too. You kind of talk about the heart and soul, I feel like, of this defense, right? It was always the Jags from a few years ago. And you look at his story, going from an undrafted free agent and just kind of working his way up, busting his you-know-what, and then becoming a starter on this defense. Like, guys want to gravitate towards that. Guys like that story. Now, you still have to produce and everything. You still have to play. But I think the fact that he's got to this point right now could pay dividends in terms of that locker room mentality on that defense.
Yeah, don't disagree. I do think, though, over the course of the season, man, they really are going to be missing Caleb Ransall. Obviously, you drafted him to make a big impact on that back end. He's out of the picture here, but I'm with you on Dewey. He brings a lot intangibly as well as tangibly to this football team.
There you have it, some of the best sound of the week. And don't miss your chance to score an exclusive Brian Thomas Jr. bobblehead and a ticket to see the Jags take on the Chargers, Colts, or Jets at the bank. The special offer won't last. One bobblehead with every ticket. So get yours today at jaguars.com/bobblehead or call 904-633-2000. Well, the stadium navigation update weekly, we'll have at each home game. Not much has changed, at least in getting into the stadium from that preseason matchup against the Steelers. The in-bowl experience will remain unchanged, full capacity all year. General admission guests access the main concourse for full circulation around the stadium. The ground level no longer connects gate to gate. So you got to find the gate that's on your ticket, go in there. That's probably the easiest way to get around or get into the stadium and out as well. Go out the same gate that you came in, because once you're outside, you're really outside, and it's hard to get all the way around this stadium. You can bring in 2 commercially branded factory-sealed bottles of water per ticket holder, 16 ounces or less. Refillable bottled water stations found at all water fountains throughout the stadium. Cups and ice available. Going to be warm today as well. Cooling buses at Ramp 4 and the South End Zone and Daly's Place have shaded space, and you can watch the game on the big screen in Daly's if you want to get out of the heat for a little while. There you have it, the update. For more, visit jaguars.com/stadium. We're closing in on inactives. They're due at 11:30 today. Up next, Chris Myers of the NFL on Fox has the call of today's game and his view of Travis Hunter and what the Jags might do with the first-round rookie. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff time for the Panthers and Jaguars in Week 1. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguar sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, Advantage You. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at EverBank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Catch epic showdowns in Cincinnati and Denver. Turn up the heat in Phoenix and Las Vegas. Support your Jaguars in divisional clashes in Houston, Nashville, and Indianapolis. View real-time parking, security, and flight updates on flyjacks.com. Whether you stick with the play call or you need an audible, they'll be your teammate every step of the way. Book your nonstop flights today. Learn more at flyjacks.com.
Chelsea here, ready to upgrade your windows or patio doors? Right now during the Renewal by Anderson's Big BOGO event, buy one, get one 40% off, plus zero money down, zero payments, and 0% interest for 18 months. At Renewal by Anderson, our Acclaim Impact Replacement windows are built for Florida homes and designed to help you save money on your energy bills by maintaining indoor temperatures year-round. Offer expires September 30th. Restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free design consultation. License number CGC 1527613.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey and Austen Lane from the Hyundai Studios. The Publix Tailgate Show continues inside 2 hours until week one. The Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars, a 1 o'clock kickoff time. Today's game presented by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And week one kickoff weekend already rolling along in the National Football League as we look around the NFL.
Yeah, we had two games go final already with Philadelphia and the LA Chargers winning theirs. But the business of the NFL continues unabated. The Cleveland Browns signed rookie running back Quinshon Judkins to a fully guaranteed 4-year, $11.4 million deal. That's 3 weeks after prosecutors declined to pursue a misdemeanor battery charge over an alleged domestic incident in South Florida in late July. Judkins was the 36th pick in the NFL draft, a pick that was traded from the Jaguars to the Browns, and he was the final member of this year's draft class to get a deal done as the Browns waited for a resolution to his legal situation. He's going to have a 2-week roster exemption, which is standard for draft picks who signed near the start of the season. While the legal matter is behind Judkins, the situation's still under review by the league, and he could face a suspension before he's allowed to take the field. Elsewhere, the Detroit Lions agreed to terms with wide receiver Jameson Williams. He got a 3-year deal with a max value of $83 million. Williams just over 1,000 yards with 7 touchdowns on 58 catches last year, bringing his career totals to only 83 catches for 1,396 and 10 touchdowns. But we've all seen the explosive element that he brings to the Detroit offense. Pittsburgh Steelers defensive lineman Cameron Hayward getting a raise just ahead of the 2025 season opener, although maybe a little bit cosmetic here. The Steelers and Hayward agreed to terms on a revised contract for the year that adds $3.2 million in incentives tied to making the playoffs and playoff wins, so not individual accomplishment. Hayward can now earn close to $18 million this season and is expected to start in today's road opener against the Jets for those Steelers. Reports indicate that San Francisco running back Christian McCaffrey is likely to play today when the 49ers open on the road versus Seattle. CMC limited in practice on Thursday after picking up a calf injury. He was held out of practice Friday despite reportedly moving well as he warmed up. He said it's been blown out of proportion. If you have McCaffrey in a fantasy league, though, you better have a backup ready to go. He also said it was blown out of proportion last year. His comments strikingly similar on the Friday before opening weekend, 1 year apart. And one last one here for the New York Giants, although Russell Wilson expected or is set to start for the Giants at quarterback when they face Washington. The team reportedly has a package of plays ready for rookie signal caller Jackson Dart to get in there based on Dart's impressive showings in the preseason. That convinced New York he's ready for some regular season action, even if they're not ready to hand him the starting job quite yet.
As you look around the National Football League, Austen, what's your thought on the spitting from the Eagles game?
Not a good look, and it seems to be kind of a trend now because we saw it last night too with the Florida Gators and everything. So I'm not sure if this is like a viral thing on TikTok that I missed out on, but that's got to stop immediately.
Well, look, that was bad, but I mean, when Dear Tart open hand slaps Travis Kelce in the face and they don't throw him out of the game because he didn't have a closed fist. I mean, that was absurd. And he made a couple of big plays in that game later on. So maybe the NFL didn't want a guy getting thrown out on consecutive nights to open the season. But yeah, not the best look.
And I'd rather get slapped than I mean, I'm not going to lie. I guess I'd rather get punched than slapped. Like if someone slaps me, that's so much more. It's
right?
so much more disrespectful. Like, it's not going to hurt as much. But if I get slapped and I'm Travis Kelce, I gotta fight him after the game. I'm sorry.
See you in the parking lot.
See you in the parking lot.
Yeah, I love that. If the Jags score in the third quarter during today's game, you score free cheese curds, courtesy of Culver's. Keep listening to today's broadcast for more information. And Chris Myers, the play-by-play announcer for the NFL on Fox, enters his 25th season on Fox Sports. Multi-sport announcer. He's seen a lot over his years, of course, both at ESPN, now at Fox, but ready to see Travis Hunter in action.
Right. I haven't gone back to the Chuck Bednarik days. I think that's about when I was born in the early 60s. But he, to me, was the true, and again, that's not the Super Bowl era, right, with the Eagles. But I'm talking about a full-time. I really think we're on something here that's never been done before. This is Ohtani-like, going with Babe Ruth historically in baseball. Of course, football's much more physical to do the kinds of things he plans to do, hopes to do, and I think that the Jags hope to do. But there were guys like Troy Brown, who I covered, Deion Sanders, who played both ways. There was even a game in which Julian Edelman, believe it or not, played 25 snaps plus at receiver and 20 or so as a defensive back when they needed him in the Belichick era. But that's not like this guy. That's not like what we saw him do to win the Heisman and what we anticipate, depending upon his health and all the other factors. So we're really excited about this. I know the NFL on Fox pregame show is doing a special lengthy feature on this, aside from us, Mark Schlereth and I, calling the game. And so it says a lot about not only the importance of this game for the teams involved, but the kind of attention that he is commanding, and rightfully so.
Clearly another change in Jacksonville this offseason. New coach, new GM, new structure of the organization, everything involved. But Liam Cohen, now the head coach, in his late 30s. You do the Tampa Bay preseason, so you had some firsthand looks at Liam Cohen over the last year or so. What he did with Baker Mayfield last year is pretty remarkable, and that Tampa Bay offense. Obviously, we'd love to replicate that with Trevor Lawrence here. What did you make of the Cohen hire and how he's establishing the culture in this organization?
Yeah, and I've been optimistic, a guy from Florida, about the Jags' moves from whether it was Doug Peterson, Urban Meyer. I mean, we're not going to go backwards here, but I think ownership tried to do the right thing. Those guys were proven. They were successful at football. What they didn't work out here. This feels better because of the way they did it. The Gladstone, Baselli, Cohen. I know it sounds like a law firm, but it's good football minds with good backgrounds. I've known Baselli for years. He dabbled in the broadcasting side, even with Fox. So we love him. The knowledge there. Gladstone comes from a Ram organization that gets the draft as well as using veterans, which we've seen sprinkled in with this year's team to try to have success. But Liam Cohen, yes, Rondé Barber and I have done the preseason games for the Buccaneers over the last few years, and he hit right away. We were on the bandwagon again. Dave Canales. That's what's interesting about this game, JP. You get Dave Canales, who was a first-year play caller with Tampa Bay, and he did some good things with Baker Mayfield and that offense in Tampa. And then right away he's hired as the head coach in the division. So that was really just a year of that. And now Liam Cohen, first-time play caller as a head coach, as a OC in the NFL last year with the Bucs, and then he gets elevated. Although again, he briefly worked with and set credits, as you know by now, Sean McVay, for the dabbled in Los Angeles with helping build up his offensive approach, and he was in college with Kentucky. But anyway, my point is, we saw in him the same kinds of things we saw in Canales, and he even did a better job with the offense in Tampa Bay. So I'm optimistic, and I hate to call somebody a quarterback whisperer when they've only been doing something for a year or two, but he does connect well with the quarterback. He sees things physically, but he also really works the mind. Baker Mayfield talked about that, how you're in it together. He finds your strength. He gives you the best chance to have success, but he also helps you clear up or clean up your weaknesses. And the greatest thing I've heard about him is defensive coordinators around the league when we cover the team, even in the regular season, that he's really a step ahead, and he adjusts with that step ahead in the play calling with whatever defense, not from series to series, but from play to play. It's almost like what Bill Belichick used to do on defense when he was coaching in New England. So all that in place, I'm expecting, and we've all been waiting for Trevor Lawrence to really hit it big, and it may not happen right away. I've already heard and seen some things in this preseason, so I'm very if I'm a Jags fan, I'm really optimistic about these hires and this year and some of the other things that we can get into. But the key is always, if you've got the quarterback and the coach that can make things happen, you're going to win games.
Chris Myers of the NFL on Fox, the exclusive extended interview with Chris Myers, available on the official Jaguars Podcast Network. Subscribe free wherever you download podcasts. Final moments with Austen Lane ahead of Week 1 kickoff weekend. Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars. I can't fight at the bank in Week 1. Give us some keys to Jaguars victory.
Listen, if you guys are fantasy football fans, cover your ears real quick. It's going to be super cliche and super basic. You have to stop Chuba Hubbard, right? Okay? Don't rely on Ted McMillan to beat you. It's got to be Chuba Hubbard. You stop him, you have a chance to win on defense. And then on offense, I get it. We want to see Travis Hunter. We want to see Brian Thomas Jr. You got to establish the run first, all right? And that's going to be a good dose of Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby and company. You start running the football a little bit, and then you work your way to the pass. That's the staple of a Liam Cohen offense. Do that. I think you have a good chance to win the football game.
Great stuff, Austin.
Not
stop the run,
run
the football.
Run the ball, stop the run. That's football, right?
That's football.
That's hopefully a winning result here in Week 1. We'll see you next week, Austin.
Thank you guys.
See you on
Appreciate
Monday.
you. I'll see you Monday. Yeah.
Happy hour.
Yeah, I'll see you with Pete again. Here we go.
We'll review this tomorrow afternoon with Austen Lane. Up next, Inactives. We'll have a pregame conversation with Kainani Stevens and John Oehser in the booth. And we're an hour and a half from the 1 o'clock kickoff time for the Panthers and the Jags. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Champions are built from the support and encouragement they get from the team around them. No one knows that better than Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr.
As one of the nation's largest pediatric health systems, Nemours Children's Health gives hope to future champions every day to go well beyond their limits. Together, we can redefine children's health. We are Nemours Children's Health.
Is your organization ready to tackle its toughest challenges? For 3 decades, CSI Companies based in Jacksonville has been the trusted workforce partner for leading healthcare and technology providers nationwide. Whether finding the right talent for a specific job, advising on a strategic project, or offering seamless managed services, they tailor every solution to fit your needs. CSI brings trusted expertise and a people-first approach to your organization. Get the job done right. Together, we go further. Learn more at CSICompanies.com.
Hey, Jaguars fans, sack those snack cravings with Dippin' Dots, the original Beat It ice cream brand. Grab a cup of your favorite flavor or discover a new flavor from one of the Dippin' Dots locations right here at Everbank Stadium. Get ready to taste the fun with Dippin' Dots.
I want my Dippin' Dots.
Jacksonville, are you ready for a winning season at home? Don't let plumbing, septic, or AC issues throw a flag on your playbook. Duck Rooter is your hometown all-star team. Licensed, insured, and the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida. We're proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just like the Jags, we're built on trust, teamwork, and always playing to win. Call the team you can trust. Dial 904-862-6769 or visit DuckDuckRooter.com. Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Big number 1 Duval Ford is trusted by Duval families, Duval businesses, and law enforcement across Florida. We're Jacksonville's largest Ford dealer by new Ford sales with the biggest service facility to keep everything in your driveway and in your fleet on the road. Shop Big Number 1 Duval Ford on Cassett Avenue for our low prices and nationally recognized service-first experience. Big Number 1 Duval Ford, proudly serving North Florida since 1916.
JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from the Hyundai Studios for the Publix Tailgate Show. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. The Panthers and the Jaguars meet in Week 1 at Everbank Stadium. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff time today at the bank. And from the backyard to the beaches, the Ford F-150 with available Pro Power on board gives you the power of a mobile generator. Ford, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. See your local Ford dealer today. The inactives are in. Here are the players down for the Jacksonville Jaguars today. Cornerback Monteric Brown has been battling an injury throughout training camp. He is inactive today. Wyatt Milam, same thing. Offensive lineman, the rookie out of West Virginia, inactive. Cole Van Lannon was on the practice field, limited this week on the offensive line, but will not play in today's game. Danny Strigo, defensive lineman, the rookie, undrafted player who made the roster, inactive today, as is defensive lineman B.J. Green, another one of those undrafted rookies to make the roster on the defensive line, will not play today. Mason Smith, defensive tackle, inactive for the game today. Elevated from the practice squad yesterday, Ricky Lee, offensive lineman from Riverside High right here in Jacksonville. He is on the roster, active today for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And awaiting the Panthers and actives. I think the biggest one, obviously, Ike Ekwonu, the starting left tackle, listed as doubtful. He did go through some warm-ups this morning, JP. We should have him momentarily. Okay. And as soon as we do, we'll pass him along.
We certainly will. And now we move along to Everbank Stadium. We welcome in Jags reporter Kainani Stevens, Jaguars.com senior writer John Oehser from the Heritage of North Florida broadcast booth at the bank. And here we are in Week 1. It is finally here. Good morning. How are you?
Game on, Kai.
Good morning.
Game on.
As one John Oehser would say, we out cheer.
Yeah, we are here. We are here.
That's what he says. That's what he says for sure. Obviously, the number one, I think, nationally part of this game is Travis Hunter and what the snap count, what's he going to play, which side of the ball, both sides. What's the answer? What's this thing going to look like with Travis today?
Well, I think he's going to play both sides. They've done a nice job of not really tipping their hand at how extensive that's going to be. I'd be really surprised if he's not heavily involved whenever they feel like there are passing situations on either side of the ball. And there's more nuance to that. I think he'll be a starter in the packages that he knows, which involve the slot on offense. And I think he'll play a lot in situations where they're trying to get the Panthers off the field and get the ball back situations on defense. I think it's been the plan all along. I think it'll lean that way. But I like everybody else, Kai, I'm anxious to see how it really looks. That may just be what they've hinted at, and they may have a different plan. Who knows?
Something's going to happen.
Something is going to happen.
Something
There's no
is
doubt
going to
about
happen.
that.
We heard from James Gladstone last week. He was pretty he likes the fact that people don't know what they're going to do with him, right? I think that's part of, a little bit of a game plan, maybe, if you want to put it that way. I won't be surprised with whatever they end up doing. I'm with John. I think he may be a little more heavily involved on defense, maybe by necessity a little bit in this game going up against Carolina. I don't think conditioning is going to be an issue. I know we haven't seen a little bit of him because he was a little bit banged up towards the end of training camp, but this guy's got a motor for days, so I don't think that's going to be a problem for him, even in this Florida heat. But like everybody else, I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Hey, guys, we did get the word that Ike Ekwonu, the starting left tackle, is officially out for this game for the Carolina Panthers, which is a boon for the Jaguars' pass rush, but you got to earn that right? That's what they say. So how do you feel about the Jaguars' ability to stop the run, or at least what you think their ability will be early in the season?
Cautiously hopeful.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they feel like it's a strength. They went out and got two veterans to play inside, so they felt like they needed to address things there. I think they focus on wanting to do that. It's part of Anthony Campanile's DNA. But I think, to me, Kai, that's a huge storyline. I want it to be good. I think they have the tools for it to be good, but they have to show it because I don't think it's a guarantee.
I don't love that Mason Smith isn't up today. I don't know if that's just him working his way back. They weren't pleased with what they've seen yet. We'll find out exactly what that's about. I would love an extra body there. We know Trayvon is great in the run game. They kind of run away from him. What this is going to look like today, Carolina's going to go heavy with Chuba Hubbard, trying to get the run game established. I think Jaguars are going to try to do the same thing on their end, so I think that will be a main focus for both of them. Who will be most successful remains to be seen. I still feel like the Jaguars have a better situation on defense, at least when it comes to stopping the run, than the Panthers have, as last year they were not very good, and I don't know what, in terms of changes, we are going to see from them.
Yeah, both these defenses, 31st, 32nd in the league in total defense a year ago, and making some changes on both sides. Certainly the Jaguars making the whole coaching staff change, and some personnel changes for Carolina as well. John Oehser, Kainani Stevens with us from the broadcast booth at the bank. Trevor Lawrence, year 5, offense number 3. Does this one stick, and how?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I think it has a very good chance to. I think what you're going to see from Trevor early, I think they are going to, Liam Cohen's talked so much, and I think everybody who follows it closely has heard him talk about excelling in the gray. I think they are going to try to have as many situations that aren't gray early at the start. I think they're going to try to make it where he's not making a whole lot of decisions and continues to get confident in this new offense and let the playing in the gray happen as the season goes on and let him start excelling athletically once they get – he has looked good in this offense a lot, but it's different in the regular season. So I think they are going to want to have as many situations that are sort of not in the gray at first and then let the gray sort of come along as the season goes on, Kai.
I think a good point that, at least from what we've heard from coaches and players so far, is that they are embracing the fact that it's going to be, a lot of it is not what you plan, right? You would like things to go a certain way, but most of the time it doesn't. And that was a lot of this team's problem, is they could not find another way. If it wasn't the exact game plan that they had, they couldn't bounce back. They couldn't be resilient. They couldn't find a way to figure things out. From what we've heard from Trevor, he likes that. He feels there are options whenever he's up there. He can kind of, whether it's change the play or just, audible into something different or kind of switch depending on what he sees. He feels he has that autonomy now. This will be set up to have success for him, as they mentioned, kind of keeping it simple early, letting him make those plays. So now would be the time for Trevor Lawrence. This is his third system, but this is built around him to be successul.
Yeah, and guys, I think Kai brushed on something that's really big. How often have you heard in the last couple of weeks Liam talk about it's going to be about how we respond? The first negative thing that happens today, how this team responds to it, I think is really, whatever that is, that's a huge storyline to watch.
Oh, it was a year ago today that they didn't respond well at all to that fumble at the goal line by Travis Etienne. So hopefully that's in the past now. Speaking of Etienne, all 4 tailbacks active today. And we talked about this earlier. You got to be careful not to pigeonhole the roles for these guys and have them be somewhat interchangeable and not have a tell for the opposing defense. Do you think we're going to see all these guys have the ball in their hands today?
Yeah, I think you're going to see, and this is purely a guess, I think you may see Etienne and Bigsby rotate a little bit early, but I think Tootin's going to be involved in the offense at some point. I mean, he's too good, too fast, too strong. So I think you'll see those guys running, and I think you'll see LaQuint Allen. Look, Kai was one of the first ones to point it out in training camp. He's the best pass blocker among the backs they have, so I don't think it's a secret that he's going to play some third down and be involved in the passing offense, Kai.
We didn't know if we were going to see all 4 of them dress, and we're seeing it in week 1. So clearly they feel strongly about the skill sets that these 4 guys have. I'm excited to see what it kind of looks like. I think Travis Etienne will be involved in the pass game a little bit, hopefully to get some success there. And then LaQuint Allen's been contributing on special teams as well. So I'm just excited to see what it looks like. We don't really know. So
yeah, I kind of think Etienne may play well enough to minimize some of the other guys. I just kind of have a thing he's going to have a big year, but that's just my opinion, and who cares about that, right, JP?
No, we do, because we're listening to it, John.
Well,
Ozone Talks,
maybe.
We listen.
That's what happens here. Could be a sloppy track a little later. Rain in the forecast, probably some storms. So curious how that changes things if the bottom drops out here.
Well, the Jaguars think they're a good running team, and good running team are mutters, JP. They're mutters. So I expect the Jaguars to be mutters today.
We're going to find out.
Yes. Their mutter was a mutter as well. Kai, John, have a great day. We appreciate it, as always.
Have a good one,
guys. Thank you.
Football's back.
We're back. Watching bowl today, Kainani Stevens, John Ozier on Jags AM Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings on Jaguars.com. And we are inside 20 minutes away from Jaguars Radio Network coverage. Countdown to kickoff starts at noon. Up next, though, a fantasy forecast and Frank Frangi in the broadcast booth ahead of the Panthers and the Jaguars. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Frank Frangi here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hi, it's Sam Kavaris. Just like the best players to ever wear the Jaguars black and teal, Echo East Coast Transportation is reliable when it counts. As the team's official transportation provider, they've been getting the Jaguars players, staff, and executives where they need to be, safely and on time, for more than a decade, with the newest vehicles and professional drivers. Call them at 904-631-5466 or find them online at ectjax.com and use the code SAM in the special instructions for your 15% Jaguars discount.
This is the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center across the street from Everbank Stadium, site of Week 1. The Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff time. And today's game is presented by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. The Carolina inactives are in, Mike.
Yes, they are. Ike Ekwonu, who we mentioned, that's the big one. Their starting left tackle will not play. A pair of wide receivers, Jimmy Horn Jr. and Delvon Campbell, not available today. Tight end James Mitchell and defensive tackle Cam Jackson, the others.
All right, the inactives are in. Now time for a fantasy forecast. Week 1 finally upon us.
All right, let's jump into it here. Two games with the highest projected totals. Those are games that you want to target a lot of fantasy players in. One of them is Tampa and Atlanta. The other, Cincinnati at Cleveland for the Buccaneers. We know they're going to be without Chris Godwin for a while. Emeka Egbuka debuts, and a lot of people really like him to make a strong debut against the Atlanta pass defense. Darnell Mooney out. He had been listed as questionable for the Falcons coming into this morning, but has been ruled out this morning. And for Cincinnati and Cleveland, for the Browns, Jerome Ford will get the start. at running back after rookie Quinshon Judkins just signed yesterday. I think they're going to treat him like the clear leader in that backfield. Dylan Sampson, an interesting guy to watch out for, but I don't think he rises to a flex level yet in his opening week. Miami at Indianapolis. Jalen Wright is out for the Dolphins. That means Ollie Gordon will be the direct backup behind Devon Achane, who had been questionable but got off the injury report at the end of the week. But Gordon is an interesting pickup and stash on your bench with Achane, a guy who's gotten banged up a good bit over the years. Las Vegas at New England. You get the debuts of both Ashton Jeanty and Travian Henderson today. Jeanty was drafted as a first-rounder, obviously is in your lineup. And in most cases, Henderson would be no worse than a flex on your team, particularly in point-per-reception leagues. Interesting, inactive today for the Washington Commanders as Chris Rodriguez is not up. A lot of shenanigans going on with that backfield, but Bill Krosky-Merritt is the guy that most people believe enabled them to trade away Brian Robinson to the San Francisco 49ers. And with Rodriguez being inactive today, it figures to be the Austen Eckler and Krosky-Merritt show. Kyler Murray is active for the Cardinals, although he was added to the injury report earlier this morning because of an illness. Keep an eye on that. The big one in the late afternoon is Christian McCaffrey. All reports indicate he is going to be able to go. He did not practice Friday, came down as questionable with a calf injury. You got to have him in your lineup, I think, if CMC goes. Obviously, with a late afternoon kick, you want to have a pivot lined up in case that inactive news comes down bad for him in the mid-afternoon. Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks, both questionable to play today for the Green Bay Packers when they host Detroit. Christian Kirk and Braxton Berrios both out for the Houston Texans as they're in Los Angeles to take on the Rams. And for Sunday Night Football tonight, Isaiah Likely has already been ruled out. I think it could be a big week for Mark Andrews, coming off the kind of the stain of the way the season ended with the drop two-pointer and all that, that I think they're going to be looking to go out of their way to get Andrews off to a good start in 2025.
He's a great player. I mean, that was just a bad moment, an unfortunate moment in the playoff.
Yeah, had a couple of them in that game, but that linger. That's what people remember. Drop a touchdown, and you can be a Hall of Famer, but if you drop a touchdown in the Super Bowl, that's going to be replayed over and over and over again.
About that. Absolutely, for decades to come. We're about 10 minutes away from countdown to kickoff on the Jaguars Radio Network, presented by the University of Florida, the #1 university in the U.S. News and World Report's #1 state for education. And we head now to Everbank Stadium in the Jaguars broadcast booth, presented by Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and remodeling company. Frank Frangi joins us. He'll have the call of the Panthers-Jaguars matchup. And at long last, kickoff weekend is here. All of this change in the offseason. Well, we know all about change here, Frank. That happens from time to time. But you know what? Now all that's in the rear view. It's time to play some football.
Yeah, I think you hit it. Good morning, JP, to you and Mike. And I think what you said is exactly right. The storyline here is we've heard so much about the new regime and the new Jaguars, and what is that going to mean? And today we get to see it. I'm really excited about this. I was excited when I went to bed last night. I was excited when I got up today, and I think fans feel the same way. We've heard so much about what it's going to be like now, and now we get to see it. I can't wait.
Well, Frank, and I think, everybody relies on what Liam Cohen said about wanting to run the football, and that opens things up. The question is, how good is this offensive line? What are they more well-suited to do? Run the ball, pass protect? I don't think we know the answer to that until we see those guys perform today.
Yeah, I will say this, Mike. I think that was the plan, one of the main plans in the offseason, in the player procurement phase, free agency particularly, is to go get physical offensive linemen. Robert Hainsey, who will be the center, is a physical offensive lineman. Patrick McCary, who's played a lot of positions in the league, but will play right guard today, is a physical offensive lineman. Ezra Cleveland, who had been a very athletic offensive lineman, but hadn't been as physical in his career perhaps, has had a very good camp. So I think that was the goal, is when they started rebuilding this team. And look, there's a lot of new guys. You know this. We all know this, Mike. When they started rebuilding this team, can you bring in a bunch of physical players and become a more physical team? And I think that's what Liam Cohen wants. I think they want to run the football. And we'll find out today, or we'll begin to find out today whether or not that worked out.
Frank Frangi with us from the broadcast booth ahead of the Panthers-Jaguars matchup in Week 1. And our first look at this Travis Hunter experience today. What do you expect, Frank, from the rookie?
Yeah, I thought even before Adam Schefter had it on his national post the other day, I've been saying what he kind of said. I think at least to start, he's going to be an offensive player that plays defense on get-off-the-field downs, JP. And I've kind of felt that way all along. I think he's going to play defense on third down and fourth down and red zone and into the half and into the game and get off the field downs and downs of significance. But I think he's going to be part of the offense. I think he's part of the 3 wide receiver set. He might even be part of a 2 wide receiver set. And I think you're going to see him a lot. So my guess would be, I haven't really broken down plays, but I would think significantly more plays on offense than defense is my expectation for Travis Hunter. And I think he'll be a big part of the game plan. I think when this game's over, number 12 will have impacted the game one way or another. I believe that.
Frank, there's been a lot of talk about the ors on the depth chart, right? This guy or that guy as a starter. And we talked a lot about Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, but Devin Lloyd and Ventrell Miller still in that category as well. How do you see their usage playing out?
Those are the 2 big ors, right, Mike? The running backs, who's going to start the game, and how much will Etienne and Bigsby play as well as the 2 rookies, and then the weak side linebacker. I think Ventrell Miller is going to be the weak side linebacker. I don't know who starts the game, but I think Ventrell Miller is their weak side linebacker. I think he's more explosive than Devin Lloyd. I think he can do more things. But Devin Lloyd, look, he's a first-round pick. He stayed in that battle, Mike. He's been in that battle the entire camp. He didn't back down from it. I think it's one of the best battles of camp, maybe the best battle of camp. And I think at the end of the day, Ventrell Miller will be their weak side linebacker. I think he'll play more plays and in more plays of significance. But you're right. That's of all the ors on there, that's the one we're paying attention to the most closely.
Frank, what scares you the most about Carolina's team?
I think they're going to try and play physically. I think Chuba Hubbard is a very good back. I think, like Jacksonville, JP, they're going to try and run the football, and I'm concerned about the defensive tackle play here. I'd be disingenuous if I didn't say that. That's been my concern all along. Man, I hope Devon Hamilton can get back to the form he once had. I hope Eric Armstead, who missed a lot of camp, is ready to play. Some of the veterans they went and brought in, Colin Saunders and Austen Johnson, have to help. But I worry about the Panthers running it right at the Jaguars. I know that's what they're going to try and do. I think Hubbard's a really good back. I think the Jags have had a little bit of a concern at defensive tackle until it's not a concern. It is, you know what I mean? And I think so that's probably the one thing that maybe concerns me the most, JP.
Yeah, I think we're overlooking, too, how impactful Rico Dowdle might be. I mean, I agree. The guy had a better year than any Jaguar back last year, and he just kind of gets discussed as an afterthought. But, Frank, if they can slow that down, you got to figure that pass rush can have some success today with Ike Ekwonu not playing.
I do think that. And your point's a very good one. Both Hubbard and Dowdle had 1,000-yard seasons last year. I should have included both of them. You're exactly right, Mike. They're going to run the football. I agree with that. With Ekwonu not there, Brady Christensen's going to be their left tackle. I think the Jags' hands are chomping at the bit, man. And what we don't know, Mike, is how is Anthony Campanile going to play this? Is he going to be a defensive coordinator that blitzes a lot? Is he not going to blitz a lot? I think the narrative now is we've seen enough that we think they're probably going to play a lot of zone. I think that's probably an accepted narrative about the defense. But we don't know how they're going to handle pressures, and so I'm interested to see that. But I would think so. I would think what Carolina doesn't want, Mike, to your point, is Bryce Young sitting back there in a lot of third and longs in this ballgame. I think that would be that's a good thing for the Jags if it plays out that way.
Frank, have a great call. Let's stay dry today as well. Weather in the forecast.
Yeah, the weather's around the corner. I hope it's not there. Thank you, JP. Thanks, fellas.
Frank Frangi joining us from the broadcast booth, presented by Heritage of North Florida, ahead of the Panthers and the Jaguars in Week 1. And looking forward to this one. It's been another long offseason of change and establishing of culture. We're going to figure out what that culture is on the field today.
I mean, look, I feel good about it, but ask me at 4 o'clock how really well I feel about the situation.
Up next, Jaguars Radio Network coverage with Countdown to Kickoff, one of the top stories of the day, Fred Taylor's take on today's game, and much more. Panthers, Jaguars, kickoff weekend, Week 1 of the National Football League, and thanks for listening to the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.